So it's your last day today here, and we don't need Zoom because you're actually now by yourself in YouTube. Do you have any questions or any more requests or just whatever? No special? Okay, so we just start with the standard routines like always. But from side. So you just put yourself in Hanmi, please. In Hanmi. Turn around because we can see them better. And I put myself beside and then take the center down, relax your knees, or activate the legs and knees, center down, shoulders open to create kuzushi. Usually we do this, I think everyone is familiar with this practice, where we influence the partner's balance by changing our own body position. Now from this side. Just feel how you make the partner losing the balance. Okay? Let's try that. Okay. Now, yeah, I think exactly here's the spot where I want to explain. Now, you have to face like this. Welcome to the YouTube show. Yeah, well, but you're back from holiday and have a nice time, so that's why you're in front. Yes, holidays. So now, different position, same activity. Okay, sideways. Nothing to do by hands, but by center and body position. Okay, it's very simple in this case because if you send the position of your feet, if you could show, is limited, to the heels or to the front of the feet. It's very limited support. Even if you stand a little bit wider, like shoulder wide, well, let's say, yes. In this direction, this line, of course, it's very difficult to make you move, but front and back, it's easier. Now, but if I would pull or push by my arms, automatically the reaction from the partner would be to secure him or herself, secure the stance. Now, what I do is to change nothing on my palms, but everything to my body. I think last week Friday, we showed this secret technology of changing the alignment of the hands in the room or in the space without moving the arm or the hands itself. Of course, I could do this by my arms, or I could do this movement by my body. So in this case, of course, you use not to give information to the partner where you move, but you move your hands according to the space. Same procedure. Start by making your legs functional working. Take down the diaphragm. Relax your shoulders and your upper spine. And then you see already how easy it is to, without her feeling the reason, to put her on the limits of the support of the feet. Okay? Let's try. Okay. Let me tell you some more. So before or within the last display, I showed how to move by my body, my hands through space instead of using the arm. Now this was still quite external movement because you could see easily what I'm doing with my body. And of course this affects the positioning of my hands. Now what you could maybe not see was a change of my hands now because we relate somehow to the, how do you say, well, to the total image when we are observing. Now, I do again. Could you see the profound change of my hands? If you're aware about or know the technology, maybe you could see. But it's difficult to catch. So there's just come here to sit because it's interesting. Sit down, kneel down. So now if you point your fingers on the height of my finger, my index finger, just point to the center, like a measure line, like this. So, okay. Without, even better if you use our hakama, how to say, security system, or hiding hakama, or fence to, or no, how to say, veil, revealing our secrets. Okay, and you see how much I move downwards, like 10 centimeters. But from the outside, it doesn't look really like doing anything. So of course, now I was moving my hands, but by my knees and by my diaphragm and by the positioning of my shoulder blades around the ribcage. So instead of moving big to bring down my hands, I did a lot of stuff inside the body, what's obviously not obvious. So try to integrate that too in this position. So no, I have now normal stance. Just by realigning and starting to pull down my diaphragm, I have changed the level of my shoulder axis by that far. Okay? And with just touching, even though I don't push or pull or press here, I have changed the relation between my system and him. So in a way, I would describe it, and that's difficult to put in words because words are not really enough to describe exactly. I have created something what connects my leg work and my center by my arm positioning to these points without of any effort or without of any force or pull or push towards the partner. And there's no idea of taking down the hands, so making something like this. It's just realigning the whole body. The effect is, the outcome is they go down, but not because I bring the hands down, just because I activate knees and center and the body. Now, this has the influence this initial Kazushi created. And from then on, of course, it's a question of direction. And the direction for extending the effect of Kazushi is either to his front or his back, not down. Down is the outcome. If gravity, the free energy, grabs him, he will go down. But you don't need to think of doing something downwards, because actually this makes his stand even solid, more solid. Do the opposite, as if you would take it away, so from the partner stance. Of course, it's a metaphor, or I try to put something in words. What your body experience and feeling should be. Now, we have had already on this part, this feeling, how to bring the center in connection and behind and take the partner's balance. Now we have this. Now we can combine these two spots to see how both of these points can relate and are linked by his structure. So I'm not behind, slightly beside him, and both points as if I would bring my center connection to this point as well as to this point. We combine. So we end up in iriminaga later. But don't go for iriminaga, just go for this kind of feeling. Take the partner's balance. If I push, I stabilize you. If I take my center and my body as described into connection, this happens. Okay, let's try a little bit to this ending. Okay. So, what we have prepared now so far is how to use our body in a certain way so that we can create conditions to uke. What makes uke losing the balance without of depending on physical force, correct? It's just changing the alignment or yourself, and by that the alignment to the partner, and seeing and creating this kind of kuzushi by observing what's happening. Of course, that's just a preparation. It's like a prelude. It's not yet kata no keiko. But it is something what occurs, for instance, in this form, what we could call then iriminaga. Now, if I remember the times when I started Aikido, like 30 years ago, there was something in this iriminaga what looked similar from the outside, but from the inside felt completely different. So something like more related to putting the body into a physical function so that something similar occurred to uke. I'm not sure. Can you remember? Do you remember? Do you remember? I'm just showing. So, for instance, something like this. Of course, form-wise, it's almost the same because it applies the same directions of taking the partner's balance. But the quality, how to take the balance, is completely different. Now, same movement. Maybe I change a little bit the entrance. But the quality of my influence should or must feel, I hope so, completely different. Maybe the outside picture would be identical. It looks like I step behind you, I take you down, and then I hold my arm in front of you and step in so you collapse. What we actually understand as the pattern of movement for iriminaga. But the change was like, I don't know, like a word different. It's like the opposite of what I did before. If you want to feel, the previous form would be like, I break your balance, and then if you regain, I throw you because of timing or positioning was okay, so it works. But it's depend on my physical influence, my physical power. The same way of movement. And he collapses, for my terms, even better than before, but without any physical effort. Of course, I needed to use my center, I needed to activate my knees, and I should feel where is his balance and lead him away from standing safe. Now, in this case now, I showed the same pattern of movement. Please come from here. Like going behind, turning, and then throwing by body power, and then influencing the same, but not by physicality, muscle power, by redirecting. If you do quick, or if I do quick, it can easily happen that I lose, let's say, my focus on how I do it, but just check, can I do it in total? Just want to find the result in the end. So if I would come to the idea of, I need to get you down by this entering, take you down and then throw, I would be like target oriented. I would check the result. That's my aim. So it feels like, okay, I don't care how it feels. Basically, I can throw. And due to the fact that I'm a little more powerful, or I have a little bit more muscles, I can do. Maybe I wouldn't be able to do that with you if you feel that and start to resist. I don't know. Even with some of you, I couldn't do that. But now, I just check to the quality of influence and the timing and the positioning and how I am, and it's easy for me, because not you. Now, it's not my target to take you down, even though it comes out in the process, but my target is to check myself and you continuously while we're practicing. So, yes. This, okay, now I'm talking about these huge differences, but of course they are integrated in the same process, in the same form way, with a different kind of taste, instead of being able to go technically, we change from being able to do the technique in a different quality. And the result is even better for both. So how would it be if I use all my physical power to take you down? It's kind of strange idea for me. Maybe too simple. But if I can change your position by not being dependent on power, it would apply to the idea of aikido, that I can take care. So you are protected, but unable to attack or to hold or to harm me. Okay, so that would be the target. So, process is clear. Just check your quality. Your speed, at your speed. Okay? Change part. Okay. I just discovered another predicament in teaching. Because I was so keen on describing how this relation and this feeling is in the beginning, to the shoulders or to the arm, and how you can use your body to break. So everybody is now really aware about that moment in the technique. That's really good. But of course, it's also for the beginning and for the end interesting to apply the same understanding. Let's go back there. If we would be here, we do this kind of practice to check or reconfirm the understanding how to use the body. Yes? So we discussed this knees and center and shoulder action. What we applied then, especially in this situation or in this situation too. Okay. Now, of course, you can already apply here this understanding. So your influence to the partner has already been there. And of course, if you continue, also here, in this moment, you can apply this kind of understanding. So not only in the midst of the form. You remember how different it feels if you are, for instance, just take Hanmi, okay? If I try to run into and throw her like that, or if I change my body to this kind of habit, what we described, with this lowered center by active leg work and soft and open arms. I applied it immediately. It's not that I'm searching for this kind of effect, like coming here and then, where is, here it is. You have it. You can use it. You know the technology, especially because you trained it. So, of course, if you're quite new to it, you have time to develop this feeling. It's okay to gather your experiences. But for the advanced students, Just think about that. How to immediately be or keep yourself in this kind of awareness, body awareness. So when you go again for Iriminage, now already in this moment, you use this understanding. Of course, you change, lead to more kuzushi, and use until the end of the form where it occurs that you will collapse. What again is not the target. Target is to observe yourself. And strong advice of Kuriba Sensei, I have to agree. Often we practice like elements, what we isolate, and then keep like interested on this one function in the beginning or in the midst or in the end of the form. But now we try to keep this kind of feeling and awareness continuously. Even while talking, I keep my legs slightly bent, my center down, my shoulders soft. So I'm not going back to, let's say, some other normal. I try to keep this kind of body activity as a normal. So your effect is immediately occurring and not changing. So you apply what you know constantly without any stop. Okay? Right, change partner. Es sah Bilder aus. Die Bilder zeige ich dir nicht. Zack. Genau. Oh, sorry. Das ist die Urlaubsstimmung. Hi. 終わります。You can sit in front of the camera for saying goodbye. It's fine. That's normal. Yeah, thank you for joining the summer course. Well, many people are on holiday, but at least we are so many today. And last week I was out, now I'm back. That's good. For me, I hope for you too. Arigatou gozaimashita.